We'd like to welcome into the broadcast now Keith Neely, who's going to be doing the play-by-play for a lot of these matches. Keith's duties elsewhere in the afternoon keep him from doing this game, but Keith is going to join us and do a little bit of the analysis here at halftime. And Keith, what did you think of the first half?
First of all, thank you very much, Nathan. First half, very interesting as far as a young team, and I say young not because of the maturity level or the age of these kids, but more the maturity level of the team and the way they are developing as a team. And I think that was very evident, Alex, in the first 12, 15 minutes of this match today.
Yeah, one thing that stood out for me is how they were trying to use Griffin as a speed man up top, but he's really a big body that's there to really be physical with those center backs and create some space. But his teammates continually played it by him, looking for him to run, but he just didn't have the speed to beat the backs of the Portland Timbers.
It also looks like the times that at Edmonds Stadium here that the Seawolves have had attacking opportunities in the attacking third. Maybe they're down one or two of those nice runs on the backside. When Griffin does get the chance to put a foot on the ball, there's only one man only in the box, and that's Griffin. He doesn't have any backside help, especially on the far side.
Yeah, there's a couple good chances. Vasquez earlier in the half, number 11, who was subbed out in about the 35th minute. He had a really good chance on goal, but couldn't quite get it past Mavis, the keeper for the Timbers. And with the mistake that happened in the back for the Seawolves, this game could easily be a draw at 1-1, but it just didn't quite go the Seawolves' way in that first half.
Jake, you mentioned how head coach Ed Moore set up not quite the quintessential lineup that most teams put forth in a 4-2-2, or you've got a very disjointed back section of this defense for the Seawolves. Really seemed to struggle in their identity in the first 15-20 minutes of this game. Once they got that established, got a couple mistakes out of their way, playing better.
Yes, definitely playing better than the first probably 15 minutes out of the Seawolves. You saw Dismute come up probably around 25th minute. More activity out of the Seawolves. They got the two opportunities from Vasquez. Griffin doing a good job starting to slow the ball up. Like Alex mentioned, when he does slow the ball up, you get more opportunities. As long as that offense is bringing their three attacking midfielders forward, they're going to see some bright futures in the offense for the season to come, and hopefully in today's game.
Young team, as far as this is the first time they've played together. This week is the first time the collective has been on the pitch for the first week of practice. I listened to you guys in the very beginning of the ball game talk about how the Timbers already have rattled off 2 games under their belt. Do you feel that maybe that experience of the Timbers having gelled just a little more than the Seawolves, is that showing in this first half?
I think that definitely showed in the first half. They came out more confident and really caught the Seawolves on their heels, like you saw with 2 goals before the 16th minute had ended. But I think in the second half here, that the experience that the Seawolves have gained working together in the first half will really be more of an advantage against the fatigue of the Timbers, who have already, like you said, played twice this week.
Fatigue definitely a factor at any level. Whether it's the pros, whether it's the U23s, 3 games in a week can really put some pressure on your knees, your legs, your psyche after a while.
Your legs will run dead. 3 weeks in game is quite a bit. I like the activity you see out of Portland's Timbers midfield. They do a good job keeping possession. We saw a majority of the half. They do like to attack. Jose Rivas, a name you hear a lot out of Creighton. Very prestigious team over there collegiately, a good season, star midfielder, He does a good job for Portland. He keeps a good balance with their midfield, getting them forward and also getting back, causing havoc, some turnovers, getting the ball back, which ultimately leads to transition opportunities like that ball you saw whipped outside for the first goal from Phillips.
Phillips with 2 goals in 12th and 16th minute of this ball game, this match so far, both on miscues by the defense of the Seawolves. But Seawolves really turned things back to their side of the the flow got back into the engine room of that midfield and were able to push forward the remaining 10, 12, 15 minutes of this match, at least in the first half. Talk about a little bit with you both, the players that you see on this pitch so far for the Seawolves that are making an impact so far in the very first ball game that we've been able to watch.
Well, on that slow start for the Seawolves, it definitely seemed like they were timid to really get into that formation they planned on coming out with the three midfielders up high and the forward on top of that. And I didn't think it was really working for him at first, but when Dismuke really got pushed up on that back line of the Portland Timbers and helped Griffin out, they really created some space, and that's what created a lot of those chances for the Seawolves in the first half.
Jake, do you have anybody that stands out in your mind, offense or defense?
Second half, I'm looking for more activity out of Griffin. Like we mentioned, he's capable of that big body, slowing the ball down, at least letting the team catch forward. When the defense is getting worn down, Seawolves have a chance to move forward if they play the ball into Griffin. I'd like to see him get up on some more balls in the air. The Timbers have won a lot of the headers in this match so far, so we'll see if the Seawolves can be a little bit more physical. Play through Griffin, slow the ball down, use Dismuke and Ballou's speed on the outsides for attacking.
We are at the half here at Edmonds Stadium. The Timbers U23 have come in to visit the home field of the North Sound Seawolves. And today's game is part of a day-long fitness and health program in the Edmonds community. And the Seawolves were definitely a part of that. The elementary school age kids participating in the Move 60 health program right here at the stadium at Edmonds. They're part of today's game, escorting players, and they're out being the ball managers, retrieving those loose balls around the sidelines. Seawolves have partnered with the City of Edmonds, the Edmonds Chamber of Commerce, and are sponsors to bring the highest level of amateur soccer right here to this area. Speaking of partners, the Seawolves today are presenting in partnership with Swedish Edmonds. And here's a video on youth athletes and concussions.
It was January 10th, 2005. I was 17 years old, and my high school basketball team was playing a varsity game. And it was around the second quarter, and I was going up for a rebound. And as I came down, the back of my head collided with the top of another girl's head. The next day, after the day I got hit, I went to school, and I was really sick. I knew I had a concussion because I suffered through a concussion my 7th grade year. I had all the symptoms, dizzy, nauseous. I couldn't focus in school. I continued to play a second game after that, and I passed out after the second game in the locker room. Basically, I was bedridden in my house for about 6 months straight. I slept on the couch because of the light. We had to put dark sheets over the windows. My mom and my sister had to help me walk around. I lost my balance. I couldn't really get that back for quite a while. I didn't know it could get this bad. All athletes have a strong will, and since we're young, we know that we have to suck it up, suck things up, whether, you sprain your ankle or you hurt your finger. You just go in the game and you shake it off and you don't complain, you don't cry. But this is a brain and head we're talking about, and you can't suck it up. So unfortunately, instead of missing a game, I missed the season, I missed sports for the rest of my life, and I missed out on a great life that I could have had. You can find information on concussions at www.cdc.gov/concussion in youth sports.
They are down 2-0 to the Portland Timbers U23 crew here at Edmonds Stadium. Make sure you get down to the stadium on June 7th. That is the next match, the next home match of the North Sound Seawolves. And you can watch them take on the Vancouver Whitecaps under 23 squad. That is on June 7th at 7:30 kick is the first kick here at Edmonds Stadium. 7 home matches for the group in the light blue kits out there starting their warm-ups before the second half of action. North Sound Seawolves Soccer is sponsored by Brian Ford, located at 5200 Evergreen Way in Everett. Brian Ford offers the best deal on every car every day. Their non-commissioned sales staff committed to providing you with a buying experience that can't be matched. Backed by that famous 72-hour return policy. Brian Ford. Easy, clear, one low price. Visit them online at brianford.com. We are at the half, just before the kickoff to start the second. 45 minutes up on the clock, and Edmonds Stadium spotted crowd here in the bleachers in a very nice afternoon. Although it's kept pretty dry, Edmonds Woodway field is a bit slick. We've seen a couple of miscues due to the surface, and maybe this young team having trouble only having practice here once or twice, not used to the facilities quite yet, even though it's their home stadium.
Yeah, and that's what worked out in the favor of the Timbers there with the second goal for Phillips. It was an unlucky slip-up by Nick Hamer in the back. You'd think they would have gotten used to the surface by now, so hopefully we can see him play more of a straight-up game here and no cheap goals like that. But, I mean, he still finished it, so well done by Phillips, but I don't think he's going to get another one of those.
Almost 500 in attendance today at Edmonds Stadium. Love to see that. If you're listening to the broadcast today, make sure you mark down on your calendar the next broadcast and the next home match, that being the 7th of July. 7th of June, rather. North Sound Seawolves Soccer, presented by My Neighborhood Network News, South Snohomish County's online gathering place. Visit My Edmonds News, Mount Lake Terrace News, or MLT News, and LinwoodToday.com for news, sports, and events about your community, and see what your neighbors are talking about. North Sound Seawolves Soccer, again, presented by My Neighborhood News Network. I'm going to turn things over again to Nathan Murphy, your play-by-play man, as we get set for the second half kick.